June 6th, 1944. The beaches of Normandy are fortified. German bunkers are filled with machine guns, artillery, and 50,000 Axis soldiers awaiting invasion. Allied plans? To flood the coast with 500,000 soldiers. Thousands of ships and wave after wave of bombers. But let's change one moment. This time, in the midst of the operation, something appears. Not from the sea, not from the air, but from the future. An invisible B-2 Spirit bomber with pilots inside, unsupported and alone, drops straight into World War II. No one on Earth has seen anything like it. The Allies do not understand what it is. The Germans do not even hear its approach. So, what will happen when a 21st century bomber appears on the most fortified beaches of World War II? Let's find out. And remember, this is a what-if scenario, not meant for serious interpretation, but it's interesting. So, let's clarify. Yes, the pilots have not been born yet. Yes, this bomber was developed only in the 80s. We ignore all of this. It's not an invasion with time travel. It's just one plane dropped in 1944 with a modern crew and what is on board at the moment. Once it runs out of fuel or ammunition, that's it. No restart, no repairs, no second mission. This is a single attack, and everything depends on how it is used. We do not ask if it can win the war. We ask how much chaos one invisible bomber can cause if no one even knows of its presence. But what exactly appeared in 1944? A black flying wing, almost invisible to radar, with 4 engines and a crew of just 2 men. This is the B-2 Spirit, the most advanced stealth bomber ever built. At full load, it can carry bombs weighing up to 40,000 pounds. And these are not just any bombs. We are talking about modern GPS-guided bombs designed to hit within a few feet. But there is one feature, and we will return to it soon. He ascends to an altitude of 50,000 feet, significantly exceeding the limits of most World War II defensive systems, and the cruising speed is 560 miles per hour. Fast, but not supersonic. It's not about speed. It's about being unreachable. B-2 is not a fighter. It has no guns, no missiles, no capability for aerial combat. It is created for one purpose, to break through defenses and erase them from the map. Its flight range exceeds 6,000 nautical miles without refueling, enough to circle Europe and return. While it is capable of carrying nuclear warheads, we will limit this mission to conventional bombs. So, what will happen when this ghost of the future appears over Normandy? The day before the largest amphibious invasion in history, and no one is even looking up. Now, let's focus on Normandy. June 5th, 1944. The Germans are entrenched. More than 50,000 soldiers guard the Atlantic Wall along the French coast. They have spent years turning it into a fortress. Thousands of bunkers, machine gun nests, mortar positions, and artillery installations are lined up along the shore. Barbed wire stretches across the sandy beach. Mines are buried just beneath the surface, and concrete machine gun nests wait, aimed at the water. Their most famous weapon is the Flak 88 anti-aircraft and anti-tank gun. But in key areas, the Germans have more powerful weapons. The Flak 38 and the massive Flak 40, capable of hitting bombers at altitudes over 40,000 feet. However, the German defense has its own limitations. Their radar systems are primitive, designed to detect slowly moving propeller planes rather than something flying at 50,000 feet and covered in radar-absorbing material. Communication is slow, often wired, and intelligence lags by days. They watch the horizon for ships, not scanning the sky for an invisible bomber from the future. Who would have thought? Will the B-2 clear the beach before the first Allied soldier steps onto the sand? It all begins with silence. The B-2 Spirit bomber is already high above Normandy before anyone notices. Flying at over 50,000 feet, it is almost invisible to the naked eye and virtually undetectable by the radars of 1944. There is almost no sound of the engine, no radio communication, only a clear sky. Then, explosions. JD bombs fall from the stratosphere, intended for precise strikes. But this precision depends on the global positioning system, and in 1944, there is no satellite network. If the team uploaded the coordinates before the time jump, the bomb will still hit the target. If not, they will have to rely on internal inertial navigation and visual landmarks. Inertial navigation does not require satellites. She tracks movement and determination from a known starting point, like submarines or missiles without a GPS system. She is accurate at short distances, but visual targeting is another story. From an altitude of 50,000 feet, Even on a clear day, detecting bunkers or artillery positions is difficult. In bad weather or unfamiliar terrain, it's more like a guessing game. Some bombs may miss. Nevertheless, chaos reigns below. Key firing points vanish. Craters tear through concrete bunkers. Anti-aircraft crews fail to open fire. The radio goes silent. Officers disappear. The chain of command collapses in panic. But B-2 cannot remain invisible forever. Its camouflage buys time, but not unlimited possibilities. Each bomb dropped is one that cannot be replaced. Each costs about $30,000. If hit by anti-aircraft fire, a single well-placed shell can damage its paint and make it slightly less invisible. But even a wounded Spirit remains a nightmare to detect, let alone shoot down. It can fly higher than most German artillery can reach. But if it descends for an attack, even a single hit can destroy its systems. Can this flying phantom truly change the course of the Normandy landings? Or will it simply make one terrible pass and disappear? Suppose B-2 hits the targets, fire points are destroyed, artillery positions are eliminated, entire bunkers are reduced to rubble before sunrise. Such a precise strike can save hundreds, possibly thousands of Allied lives, especially on Omaha and Utah beaches, where German artillery has turned the shore into a slaughterhouse. But B-2 is not a magic wand. Even with the most successful raid in history, the beaches are still littered with barbed wire, mines, snipers, and fortified bunkers. The Atlantic Wall was built to withstand blows, and not all of its fortifications are above ground. Some of them are buried deep in the ground or hidden by the terrain. Then there is the factor of chaos. The Allied commanders do not expect the appearance of a futuristic aircraft. If they do not realize it is friendly, the bomber could cause confusion, or worse, panic. Soldiers might mistake it for German secret weapon. Anti-aircraft gunners could start firing at it. Misinformation could delay the landing or even disrupt the invasion schedule. Thus, although the B-2 bomber can weaken beach defenses and scatter the defenders, soldiers will still have to storm the shore. The bombs cause destruction, but the shock affects the German troops more deeply. The attack is essentially invisible. There are no roaring engines, no approaching planes, only explosions from the sky. An invisible fighter in a world that does not know of invisibility. Morale is falling. Discipline is breaking down. Some parts may think that the Allies have created superweapons. Others may whisper about darker rumors. They have made contact. This is alien technology. Well, maybe not quite like that. But such rumors do not stop at the trenches. They reach the officers, and then to Berlin. Will Hitler believe that the Allies have some new British wonder weapon? Will he start pulling resources from the Eastern Front, chasing shadows, delaying operations, and losing trust in his own air defense? Look, the B-2 bomber can definitely strike dozens of fortified targets, bunkers, artillery positions, command centers. All of this will vanish in one go. It can shake the front, confuse the German command, and weaken the beach for the Allied forces preparing for the landing. But he still won't win the war. It's just one plane, one mission, one load. Once the bombs are exhausted and the fuel is running out, that's it. No refueling, no reloading, no repairs. He enters the war like a ghost and disappears just as quickly. But in this short time, he can save thousands of lives, change the course of events, and leave every surviving soldier, whether German or Allied, bewildered, gazing at the sky and wondering, what was that? And what if the pilot survives and lives the rest of his life in the 40s? Or perhaps the bomber will create a completely new timeline where World War II ends sooner, but not as we know it. Peace will come faster, and the future will change forever. Any of these events could rewrite everything we think we know about history, but we will never know the truth. What if something even crazier appears in history, like a squad of sea lions fighting 10,000 samurais? Watch the video on the screen right now. Thank you for watching.